All right, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling something that's pretty interesting, I think, these numbers. 3, 6, and 9. You probably, I mean, everyone has probably heard them, linked to Tesla.
Yeah.
And this idea that they, unlock some kind of universal secret.
Right.
So we've got this, a whole bunch of sources here, and they kind of dig into Eastern philosophy.
Okay.
And connect these numbers to all these concepts like liberation and different realms of existence and even like stages on the path toward enlightenment.
Okay.
It gets a little, I'll be honest, it gets kind of mystical in places.
Right.
But that's kind of what makes this stuff so fascinating,
Yeah,
right?
no, for sure.
So our goal today is to really sift through this and see what we could actually, learn and apply.
Yeah, what I think is interesting is that while these numbers are, connected to Tesla and his scientific mind, our sources are taking us on this journey through these ancient spiritual traditions. So it's kind of like this blend of the scientific and the mystical,
Right.
which I think is where things get really interesting.
Totally. So let's just jump right in. I guess we'll start with this idea of the power of 3.
Okay.
And we have this concept of a 3-body free wheel, which, honestly, when I first read that, I was like, is this like Star Wars or something?
Right. It does sound pretty sci-fi.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's actually describing these 3 liberations.
Okay.
So emptiness, Vajra, and Prajna, which are represented by the numbers 3, 6, and 9.
Okay.
And what really got me, I think, what got me the most was this concept that emptiness liberation is the first step. That's pretty deep, right?
It is.
So I'm curious, what does that actually mean on a practical level?
Well, you can kind of think about it like decluttering your mind.
Yeah.
We hold on to so many ideas and beliefs and even, just physical things that weigh us down, right? So emptiness liberation is kind of about recognizing that all of these things are impermanent. It encourages us to, detach from those attachments and find this sense of freedom.
So it's not about emptying your mind completely.
Yeah.
It's more about understanding that everything is kind of in this state of change.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's about understanding that clinging to these fixed ideas and identities can actually create, suffering.
Right.
And so by recognizing that everything is constantly changing, we can find more peace and flexibility in how we navigate the world.
Okay, that's really helpful, I think.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how this actually connects to personal growth.
Right.
So where do the samadhis fit into all this? Because the source, describes them as these these super focused states of meditation.
Well, the samadhis, kind of build on this idea of emptiness liberation, right? So the first samadhi is all about realizing the true nature of the self. It's about going beyond just the surface level of our personality and ego and connecting with this, deeper sense of who we really are.
That makes me wonder, when we actually tap into that deeper self, what happens?
That's where the second samadhi comes in, right?
Okay.
It's all about developing this wisdom that leads to what they call undifferentiated and equanimous enlightenment.
Okay.
Imagine being able to see past all the judgments and divisions that we usually make and experiencing this state of just pure, unbiased wisdom.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is, yeah.
So you achieve this inner peace, you have this wisdom, and then what?
Then things get really interesting, right?
Okay.
The third samadhi is all about cultivating this boundless compassion and actually helping others to reach enlightenment. And, the source even talks about leaving all the drama behind. It's like reaching this level of understanding that frees you from, those everyday anxieties and conflicts.
Right.
That allows you to help others do the same.
So it's almost like a progression.
Yeah.
First you understand yourself, then you understand the universe, and then you help others reach that understanding.
Exactly.
But how does this wheel of the 3 bodies of freedom, how does that tie into all of this?
So the wheel emphasizes the cyclical nature of this journey. It's not like a linear path with, a definitive end. It's like this continuous process of growth and understanding and sharing that understanding with others.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone through this power of 3 and, these stages of liberation.
Yeah.
But what about 6? Where does 6 fit into all this?
Right. So 6, according to our sources, represents 6 paths.
Okay.
And these are heaven, man, asuras, animals, hungry ghosts, and hell.
Whoa, okay, those are pretty intense.
They are, yeah.
Are we talking like literal realms here? Or is this more, symbolic?
It's kind of both.
Okay.
This concept comes from ancient Buddhist and Hindu cosmology.
Okay.
And these paths represent different levels of existence,
Right.
each with their own, karmic implications.
Right.
So it's not so much about physical places as it is about the state of your being influenced by, your actions and intentions.
So it's like a reflection of your inner world.
Exactly.
Like if you're living in a state of anger and resentment,
Yeah,
you might find yourself on a less desirable path.
precisely.
Okay.
And it's within this framework of 6 paths that our source introduces the 4 dignified celluloid.
Celluloid. That sounds a little out of place.
It does, doesn't it?
Like what does that have to do with spiritual paths?
Yeah, it's a peculiar term for
Yeah.
sure. But essentially, the 4 dignified celluloid refer to a set of principles
Sure.
that, guide you towards purification and enlightenment.
You can kind of think of them like tools for navigating those 6 paths that we were just talking about.
Right.
They can help you move towards a more positive and fulfilling state of being.
Okay, I'm really curious.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of these principles? Can you give us, like, some concrete examples?
Sure. One quote that really stood out to me was, "To cultivate the supreme meditation, to attain the 2 kinds of liberation, and to see supreme nirvana is the precepts."
So, meditation, liberation, reaching nirvana.
Yeah.
That sounds like the ultimate self-improvement guide.
It does, right?
But how do those precepts actually play out, like, in our daily lives?
Well, the source also talks about the importance of purifying these precepts.
Okay.
And it suggests that this purification leads to infinite stability.
Infinite stability. I mean, sign me up.
Right.
Especially in today's world, I think.
In today's chaotic world, who wouldn't want a bit more of that?
Exactly. But what does that actually look like in practice?
So it's about cultivating a deep sense of inner peace.
That can't be shaken by external circumstances.
Hmm.
Imagine being able to face any challenge
Yeah.
with this calm and centered mind, regardless of what, life throws your way.
When I think about it, this infinite stability, it doesn't mean, avoiding challenges.
Right.
It's more about having the inner strength and resilience
Yeah,
to actually navigate those challenges without losing your sense of peace.
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's about finding that inner equilibrium that allows you to, weather the storms of life
Yeah.
without being completely swept away.
I think that's something that, we can all relate to.
Sure.
So much of our, modern world feels like it's just designed to pull us in a million different directions.
Right.
But, these principles offer a way to actually find that grounding force within ourselves.
Exactly.
It's pretty amazing how these ancient ideas can still feel so relevant,
Absolutely.
today.
It's a testament to the enduring wisdom of these traditions. They offer these timeless insights into the human condition that transcend, cultural boundaries and historical periods.
So we've covered 3, which is about liberation.
Right.
And 6, which focuses on these paths and principles for navigating, life's journey.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really curious about the final number 9.
Okay.
What mysteries does that one hold? Okay, so we've explored this whole idea of the power of 3. We've talked about these 6 paths and the 4 dignified celluloid.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually really excited to jump into this final number in this puzzle, the mysterious number 9.
Yes, this is where we get into this realm of subtle qualities and this advanced stage of spiritual development. Our sources describe 9 as representing, these 9 subtle qualities that are cultivated on this bodhisattva path.
Now, for those who, might not be super familiar, could you just remind us what the bodhisattva path is all about?
Sure. So, it's not just about your own personal enlightenment, but it's actually about extending that wisdom and compassion outward to help, all beings achieve liberation.
Right.
So it's this path of actively engaging with the world,
Okay.
motivated by, this deep desire to alleviate suffering
Yeah.
and guide others toward enlightenment.
So it's not about escaping the world, it's about transforming it.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
And these 9 subtle qualities are like advanced tools for navigating that path.
Okay.
They represent a really refined state of being
Okay.
and acting in the world.
I'm all ears. What are some of these qualities that 9 represents?
So one that I found really fascinating was speaking the Dharma without hindrance through speech. Imagine being able to communicate with such clarity and power
Right?
that your words just effortlessly convey these profound truths
Wow.
and, inspire and uplift anyone who hears them.
That's amazing. It's like the ultimate communication masterclass.
Right.
Are there any other qualities that we could, maybe use in our daily lives?
Another really interesting one is eliminating consciousness and teaching through wisdom. And it suggests this transcendent state of understanding where knowledge just flows directly from a deeper source, almost bypassing, the usual filters of the conscious mind.
That sounds a lot like intuition or insight.
Right, exactly.
You're not, thinking about things, you're just experiencing them.
Yeah, and here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
Another quality is maintaining this desire for colorful births, while also embracing the state of elimination of all thoughts and feelings.
Wait, how can you desire anything if you've eliminated all thoughts and feelings?
It is a mind-bending concept, isn't it?
It is.
It suggests that even in this highest state of enlightenment, there's still this capacity for action and engagement with the world.
Right.
It's not about, shutting down or becoming indifferent.
Yeah.
It's about transforming your relationship to reality.
Okay.
You're fully present but not bound by these attachments.
So it's like finding that perfect balance
Yeah.
between detachment and engagement.
Precisely.
Okay.
It's about being in the world but not of it.
Mhm.
Acting with compassion and wisdom without being, weighed down by these personal desires or anxieties.
That's such a powerful concept.
It is.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, we've gone from understanding the self with 3 to
Yeah.
navigating all these different paths and principles with 6
Right.
to embodying these profound qualities on a path to help all beings with 9.
Yeah.
It's like climbing this spiritual ladder.
It really is.
It's an amazing journey.
And while these 9 qualities and the 10 powers of the Buddha that are described in our sources, they represent this really advanced level
Right.
of spiritual development, I think there are still really valuable takeaways here for all of us, regardless of where we are on our own paths.
I totally agree. It's like, we're diving into this ancient philosophy,
Yeah.
but it's still so relevant.
It is. And what I find really fascinating is this idea of interconnectedness.
Right.
Personal growth, understanding the universe, helping others. It's all beautifully woven together.
That's a great point. It's like we started with these numbers,
Yeah.
this kind of, mystical fascination,
Right.
but exploring them through these ancient philosophies, it's like we've found this blueprint for living a more meaningful life,
Absolutely.
a more impactful life.
And it all comes back to that initial idea of emptiness liberation.
Right.
Letting go of the things that hold us back.
Yeah.
So we can embrace this more expansive way of being.
Absolutely. And that brings us to a question for you, dear listener. If 3, 6, and 9 represent these different stages
Right.
on this journey toward enlightenment, where do you feel like you are?
Yeah. Where do you resonate?
What resonates most strongly with you?
From everything that we've talked about.
It's something to really think about.
It is.
And, this is just the beginning.
Right.
There's always more to learn, more to discover,
Absolutely.
more to uncover.
Keep diving, keep questioning, keep seeking those deeper connections. You never know what you might find.
Until next time, happy deep diving.